Hey, Josh.
Hey, Andrew.
So what do you think of this right of withdrawal stuff in the EU?
I think it is not as big of a deal as some people think. What do you think?
I think it's a lot of legal wording that can get people scared, but it's a big old nothing burger.
To be fair, I get scared when I hear a lot of legal words put together, but yeah, I agree with you. When you break it down, I think we were slacking about this earlier this week. I think you summed it up really well. You said basically what this new policy means is that merchants selling in the EU now have a 14-day return policy, whether you like it or
That's
not.
exactly right, Josh.
Yeah. And,
Right, that was our intro.
awesome. Yeah, and by the way, Andrew, I was gonna ask you, I'm changing the subject a little bit, but you sent me this screenshot of Snap unveils their new AR glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
that's
it, Josh?
interesting.
Does it look
I have
amazing or does it look tweeted?
So it's funny you ask because I really want a future where, smart glasses are really actually useful and really actually do like some of the heavy lifting that our phones do today. I like that idea a lot. Being able to interface, with a screen, that's just built right into your glasses. I think that's a very cool, very sci-fi idea. It also is really practical. If you're working on like an airplane, can you imagine? I mean, it's not comfortable working on an airplane, that would certainly make it a lot easier. And just basically being able to have that monitoring solution. That's what I'm most interested in myself when it comes to smart glasses. Having that monitoring solution that you can pretty much take with you anywhere you want to go. However, there's one big problem that every single offering that has been brought to the market has so far, pretty much with very few exceptions. They look stupid. And we are, whether we like it or not, the fact of the matter is, if you want something to like really catch on, if you want it to be something that is as popular as an iPhone or an Android or like a smartphone in general, it's got to be cool. Steve Jobs got that. He understood that. And that's why we all have iPhones and smartphones in our pockets.
Yep.
Until somebody figures out how to make AR glasses look cool, it's just never going to catch on. And based on what I'm seeing here in this screenshot that you sent me, I don't think Snap has cracked that nut yet. So I guess that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, that takes me back to the conversation that we had about, Google partnering with Warby Parker. Maybe Warby
Mhm.
Parker can help, crack this nut here, but Snapchat definitely has not cracked this nut here. Those glasses look stupid.
They look really.
I'm sure a lot of work went into product design and everything like that, but not a single person at that company looked at those glasses and was like, "Guys, maybe stop the lines a little bit. But could we could we rethink these?" The one thing the one thing that's good about them is that you'll recognize when somebody's wearing those glasses so that you could avoid them at the bar. Cover your drinks.
That is a really good point. I didn't think about that. I do understand it is a unique challenge. It's a hard problem to solve. I mean, technology has come a long way and it has a long way, but it also has a long way to go. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah.
fit the amount of tech that's required for smart glasses into a cool package yet. That's just too much tech to fit into what makes a pair of glasses cool. Usually they're sleek. They have like a good look to them. And there's like a very strong need for glasses to be aesthetically pleasing to an individual's taste because they're so personal. It goes on your face. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like that's the challenge. It's a unique challenge. I get it. I do. But like if I'm looking at these here, like the actual glasses like rims themselves are like not great. They leave a lot to be desired. And
Oh, can we put
unfortunately
this on or something? As in, like, can we put this on screen right now?
yeah. Hold on, hold
We'll
on.
show her what we're talking about here. So I
Yeah.
believe that's the CEO of Snap.
I
Is it
think so. Yeah, let me share this out. Okay, so, and this is not a personal attack. Wait, hold on. All right, so here it is in all of its glory.
Oh man, I feel bad for her ears.
Yeah, so
Ears holding on for its dear life there. He's gonna
I didn't even notice that, so you pointed it out. Yeah, I mean, come on, look at these. Okay, first and foremost, the frames themselves, like just like the outlines here, I
The
mean,
shape?
leaves the shape. There's a lot to be desired, and it only gets worse from there when when you follow, like, whatever this I don't know what this part of the glasses is called, but,
I think it's
this
called an arm or something, right? Is that right?
yeah.
Alright,
These I think that these glasses have spent they're on too much TRT, too much HGH, hitting the gym. These arms are too big. You know, so like, what's going on here, dude? Like, I didn't even notice the ear thing until you pointed it out. But yeah, how could you expect somebody to just wear this day to day? Like, th- I don't understand. I don't
yeah,
understand.
or whatever. It looks like he's, you know, the eye shape or the lens shape on the general shape of the frames here remind me of, like, just generally, I think Tom Ford glasses, right?
Mm.
Tom Ford has a style that's kind of like this, but then it's like Tom Ford mixed with, like, 3D movie theater, and,
That's exactly right. Yeah. That, I was wondering what this reminded me of. It is those little glasses they hand to you when you go into a 3D movie, you know? This is
yeah.
exactly the same
Those are
kind of vibe.
glasses that you wear for a purpose. They're not glasses that you wear to look cool, you know?
Absolutely
So,
not.
yeah.
And I think the craziest thing about these is the price tag.
Oh, what
They're
are they
like
selling for? I don't even know.
2,200, 21.95.
Oh my god, I that was the screenshot that I sent to you, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't even see the price 'cause I was just focused on how dumb he looks.
I don't think anybody is going to pay $2,200 for these glasses. I mean, I don't know. Call me crazy, but
Someone's
there's someone's going to, but, like, not very many people. I can't imagine very many people are going to pay over $2,000 for these glasses specifically. I mean,
yeah,
I could be wrong, but
yeah.
I've been wrong before.
Yeah, I wanna
But
say this is not their first foray into this space as well. I swear there's, like, maybe 5 years ago, maybe further back, they had some sort of smart glass thing as well, but I
that
don't
sounds
quite recall.
that sounds right. I know that Meta has those Ray-Ban glasses. Those came out a few years ago. But I think you're right. I think Snap did at least maybe talk about it. Maybe they had a prototype or something. I don't think they brought anything to
Oh,
market
okay,
though.
maybe it was a prototype, yeah.
Let me check. Snap glasses. That's the hardest part about, I think, glasses in general is, you know, there is a camera, that is basically that's kind of part of the appeal of it, right? Is that it's basically
Right.
recording from your own POV all the time. How do you deal with that from a privacy perspective? Because at least when somebody's recording you on their phone, it's kind of obvious. It's not always obvious, but it's way, way, way it's way, way, way easier to hide in a pair of glasses than it is like holding up, your phone to record somebody.
Right.
But that said, the advantage that you mentioned earlier, as long as these goggles or these glasses look stupid, you can see them from a mile away. So you'll never be caught off guard. You'll
Yeah,
never be recorded unbeknownst to
yeah,
yourself.
you know who to avoid, and, yeah, you know when to cover your drinks too, so
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So over the basically the course of like the last year, we've been in the order editing and order management space for over 10 years now. We brought self-serve order editing to the market about what 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. And ever since then, we've been, focused on improving the self-serve order editing, really understanding how we can make it seamless. And that's no easy task. It sounds anything that sounds easy from a technology perspective is only easy because of a million hard or complicated things that happen behind the scenes. Keeping up with the limitations and the changes and the constant updates that are made to Shopify's order editing API are one thing, but then also, adapting each individual install to any individual customer's needs because of their tech stack or their order flow needs or payment methods they accept, etc. It can get complicated pretty fast. So that was our primary focus, just to make sure we have the best order editing solution on the market.
but I would say as of over a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, we were basically at a point where, the ease of install just depended on, what kind of processes, what kind of systems that you had internally, and We've had really big merchants who have been able to just turn it on, get everything, and then some brands just need a little bit more hand-holding, and we're always happy to do that as well. So, but I would say the vast majority of all of our merchants who are using self-serve order rating have enabled it themselves without talking to us. So, very, very good signs there that we've done the right things.
Yeah, absolutely. And having, documented use cases for basically every scenario under the sun too, because that just helps people move on their own too. Because sometimes people just need to hear from an expert, hear from people who deal with this day in and day out. That like, yes, this is going to work, and here's how to do it. Here's how to accomplish it. But I think that one thing that became clear was, when you open up this editing window after checkout where customers can make those changes to orders before they actually go to fulfillment, there is a big opportunity there for putting offers in front of customers and upselling customers before the fulfillment process starts. Is you're kind of essentially extending that sales funnel a little bit. And there are plenty of solutions out there on the market that have been doing that are doing that today. And one thing that we've kind of noticed after talking to hundreds of merchants over the last year is that there are a lot of merchants who are either really underusing that technology or they're not using it at all. And a lot of it comes down to, if they're not using it at all, it comes down to the complications and the difficulty of actually getting it set up. And it also comes down to like being unsure of whether or not you're actually setting it up the right way. So the first and foremost thing that we wanted to solve for when we were building out our upsells was making sure that it is just dead simple to implement and to onboard new customers for themselves. They can just click a few buttons and it's done. And not only is it done, but it's done very well based off of data on what the best offers are going to be for their store. So that was first and foremost the most important thing. And then on the underserved side, customers who were using technology for post-purchase upsells, but they just weren't getting the full benefit, the full impact they could be getting from those tools. A lot of it came down to order coverage and offer coverage. So for example, when you set up rules with an upsell app, they're like going to only apply based off of the rules that you set for carts that qualify for that upsell offer. So we would regularly see customers who are thinking, oh yeah, we have like a 3% acceptance rate on this offer, 4% acceptance rate on these offers. We're doing really well. But when we took a closer look at the data, we realized that only like 20, maybe 30% of their total orders were actually seeing offers at all. Why not closer to 100%? So that was another question we were asking. Why? When we build our upsells, we want to make sure that we have the maximum coverage that we can possibly have for orders that are flowing through your store. Otherwise, what's the point? If you have a tool, why aren't you using it to its full potential there? And then in addition to that, when customers are checking out via Apple Pay, checking out via Google Pay, etc., a third-party payment provider like that, autofill, those transactions do not qualify for the one-click upsell that happens right after checkout on Shopify. So there's going to be a certain percentage of your orders that always get passed over, that don't actually get those upsell offers from your tool. And that's just hard. That's just hard written into Shopify's rules. So how do we get around that? These are the questions that we were asking, and how we get around presenting offers to orders that use Apple Pay, that came in via Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc., is by creating a conversion optimized page where customers can land when they accept a Klaviyo triggered offer. So basically, our offers engine triggers a Klaviyo email that gets sent to a customer with an offer after they place their order. And if they engage with that offer that's presented to them right there in an email format, a Klaviyo template, and that offer is going to be specific, by the way. So it's going to be, hey, click here to add this to order to get free shipping or something like that. Just as an example. Then those customers are taken to a branded conversion optimized page with that cart preloaded with the offer for them, so they can accept it just like that. So now we've solved for being able to get offers in front of customers, even if they don't qualify for one-click upsells, right? Obviously, you're the one who built it with the dev team. So I'd love to hear like what you're thinking about it, Andrew.
Yeah, Josh, that was definitely the full rundown on the whole thing there. Let's see for upsells. Yeah, I think you basically ran through that, but like I want to talk about like I think a couple of like major problems that we were looking to solve there. And the number one major problem is just going from 0 to 1, just getting started with upsells. There are a lot of decisions that you have to make when you're doing that, and you don't know it's hard to know if you're making the right decisions. And what we wanted to do in our tool was to build in the best practices that we've learned over the years and that we've observed, thousands of merchants doing that are the most successful merchants on our platform, both using upsells and whatever potentially other tools that they've had that we've learned from them through conversations and asking them, "Hey, what's working for you?" But then also in the way that they were using our self-serve order editing to drive upsells and cross sells after the fact, and that's where the birth of our Klaviyo and email notification tooling to message customers with upsell opportunities in the post-purchase window. That's where that was born from, and so those were kind of the major problems, and getting started, where we ended up landing is that we, over the last couple of years, we've been working with merchants to kind of analyze what's been working in their store and then also be able to offer more of that as far as cross sells and upsells in the post purchase window. And we're looking at this and we're saying, you know what, like some of the statistical methods and queries that we developed, these should be in the post-purchase upsell that comes up right after checkout as well. And so when merchants go in to use upsells and set it up, we actually pull down all of their order data in order to do this exact analysis. And the result of that analysis is a fairly high confident level or range of suggestions and targeting that can give you the right upsell funnels and setup with one click in order to get going on day one. Of course, we're using statistical queries and methods in order to figure this out. And then we're also plugging it into a little bit of sprinkled AI on top of there, of course. And that's just to help take it over the finish line on that end. But the real basis for this are the statistical kind of query and order digging that we do in order to provide the context for AI to make mostly construct the final shape of what the upsell funnels looks like for those merchants. So it makes it just so easy to get started, and it's actually really insanely powerful because once we've done that, we are able to build in all of the additional best practices that we've figured out with merchants over the last couple of years here in this area. Uh,
Mhm.
and Josh, you already touched on one of those, which is to try to make sure that you are presenting an offer to every customer that you can. And we even show you in the app, what our estimate of what the coverage looks like based on the targeting rules that you've created for one particular funnel or all of the funnels that you have set up and that are active right now. So it's pretty really powerful. It just helps you get a much more complete picture of what you set up so that you can get a better sense of, hey, am I maximizing the opportunities that I have here?
And I remember when you first showed me, we did, some of our first analysis for post-purchase revenue and like upsell opportunities for customers. And, it's a pretty big data operation. It's not huge, but like, you're analyzing a lot of data, even if you're just looking back 1 year at 1 year of data of a single store. Especially if the store is in like the figure range, 8 to 9 figure range, like it's a lot of order data. And you drilled it all down. We kind of parsed it all up, and you were kind of walking me through, okay, so this is how we know that these are the best offers for these kinds of carts, etc. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like it's pretty amazing that that you're able to like parse through all the data like this. And you said, well, what's going to be even more amazing is one day our customers are going to be able to get this level of service just with a couple of clicks, and it's just gonna happen for them. And I was like, "What? I thought you were crazy at first." I was like, "There's no way." But that was the vision, and that's the vision that's coming to life right now, and it's really really cool. And I think that another really really cool thing about the product vision that you're bringing to the upsells too is the MCP vision that we have for it as well. And basically just being able to allow, people to, use Cleverific directly through their preferred LLM and basically be able to generate and build all their upsell offers in the way that we know is going to become increasingly more and more the like kind of default mode for people to be interacting with digital work. So really, really exciting, man. Really, really stoked.
Well, Josh, I don't know if we were gonna talk about that now, but by the time that this, I think, episode comes out here, we're gonna be that should have been launched here. So here's the scoop, everyone, which is that there's a Cleverific MCP. That's an official announcement, and the Cleverific MCP allows any merchant, if you have our app installed, to query what's going on in Cleverific, get specific advice and data about your upsells, order editing, customer behaviors that we've captured, so that you can take that, slice and dice it any way that you want in your LLM, in your AI of choice there. Josh and I rag on AI a lot, but I would confuse that for us not wanting to take advantage of the tooling that's out there. And the thing that we rag on AI the most about is the idea that a company is out there, like there's a lot of companies out there that are one, either thin wrappers around an LLM or an AI, or they've taken a product and they've done like the most minimal, like frosted coating of AI over the top of it. And here at Cleverific, what we think of AI is that we think of it as a means to an end, and a means to an end, two, a very poor replacement for and a misguided replacement for the creative process. So I think that's a huge way that we think about that. But as a means to an end, as a system that can power intelligence and an intelligence layers and continual learning, that's where the biggest opportunity for AI is. And we've built the way our upsells work is that it's able to do or help with that initial analysis, and then we continually collect that performance data over time, and it just continues to get smarter to be able to, one, not only help you present the best upsell offers to your customers, but also to help you find potential wedges that you hadn't thought of before that happen to be doing well with customers as well. And finding things that help that you haven't thought of is where the biggest value, I think, with AI and with learning layers there. And so in our system, it's very deeply integrated into the data layers. It's not just a chat interface on top of everything.
Yeah, I would say that we're not anti-AI. We just like to rag on AI hype because we think that there's usually a lot of fluff, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really cool, really exciting stuff. So what is after the upsell, features launch soon here, what's next?
Well, we have it's really yeah, actually that's a really great question. But it's upsells, it's the MCPs that we're really focused on here. For us, the broad vision is this is being an intelligent layer around revenue for merchants. And where I see some of those biggest opportunities is in constructing the sort of e-commerce or company brain around the data that you have there. And we're moving forward with doing stuff like that. We've done actually something like that for our own internal teams. Right. Josh, you and I have talked about this, and we put things together here on this. Basically, everything that we have and do flows through a single or data layer now. It's a single data warehouse that we set up, and everything runs through that so that we can ask it questions, query. Everybody in the company has audited access to this data layer in order to be able to do their jobs and get analysis that they need to make the decisions that that for the projects that they're working on right now. So, and I think that there is a massive opportunity in bringing that to e-commerce. Josh, this was a fun conversation. I'm really excited about what we're doing right now, and I think that with the merchants that we've been working with and the success that we've seen in what we're bringing to upsells right now, that even though it is a crowded space, there's lots of existing players, lots of big players in the space. What I always like to say is that when you're coming into a crowded or saturated market, you always have to have a point of view. And this upsell feature that we've built here, this entire system that we built here, definitely has our point of view in it. And it's about not just best practices, but uncovering the opportunities that and optimizing for things that you, kind of haven't thought about and trying to surface those things that can help brands just perform better online.
Yeah. Your data is telling a story, and our point of view is that with the right perspective, with the right point of view, you might not know those stories yet, but once you understand the stories that your data is telling you, the opportunities there far outweighing people's expectations. Everyone who we've talked to, all the merchants we've talked to.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
mhm.
Josh, really great conversation, man.
Great conversation, Andrew. Thanks, dude.